Good start from the inside for Borja Zazo, who'll poke himself alongside Justin Melillo. Sweeping into the race lead, though, Tim Stevens. Melillo a little bit deep, a little bit wide, blocks off GoPro Lopez, allows Borja Zazo to rocket up his inside. Melillo a traffic jam, and the other Traction GG car gets involved as well. Both Arrow and Melillo around.
Oh, it's not a day for teammates here, is it, in these heat races? Both Traction GG cars ended up at the tail of the field right now, but yeah, that was a big move through turn number 2, and right now it's all about that Joker strategy. When do you take it? If you're ahead, you can take it early or you can take it late. It doesn't matter. You've got to play things with that Joker lap if you're sort of mid-pack right there, stuck in traffic.
So lap 1 done. Retzlaff, the only one of the leading cars to take to the Joker. Borja Zazo goes down this time around. Where is that going to feed him in comparison to Retzlaff, who's working his way through the right-hand sweeper? There you can see as well, just above the wall, comes Borja Zazo. Not going to be close between Zazo and Retzlaff. Zazo does cycle in front, though, of Tim Stevens. So now the gap to watch for is Zazo and Stevens. GoPro Lopez looking like he's going to have to fight through a last chance qualifier. One of our 6 winners so far in 2021.
It's been great, hasn't it, that we've had such variety of winners here in 2021 with the All-Stars. And yeah, Parker Retzlaff looking very good and assured here today. Seems to suit him, does this track, and he'll be happy to make it through to the feature race on the first time.
Here comes Stevens around the outside through the Joker, emerging back out onto track. Where is that going to feed him? Alongside Zazo, or will he be in front? He's in front. So there we go. Couple of laps left for Zazo to try and sling his way into the feature. Otherwise, last chance qualifier, the route that he will go. Phoenix is technical. I think that's the key of all of these tracks at the end of the day, isn't it, Paul? But this is one where we've already seen over the jump just how tricky it can be. And one thing that I think a lot of people don't take into account is when you are up in the air, you have to control your inputs to manage the inertia that the car has. If you're a little bit too pointed upwards, you'll land and potentially damage the engine. And managing that over the course of the race is going to be crucial.
Yeah, people might not think, but using the accelerator, using the brakes whilst you're mid-air can actually alter the pitch of the car, so when you land, you want to have it land nice and even, nice and flat, but because you are turning to a degree onto that jump, it just throws the balance of the car over the jump off, and we've seen that affect a couple of people so far. Borja Zazo looking, and you can see how it just landed on that front left all first.
Is he going to try another move down the inside? Thought about it, tried to use the bumper, might open the door for GoPro Lopez to scamper on through. That's grid position for the last chance qualifiers, but across the line, winner at Daytona, winner of heat number 2, Parker Retzlaff takes the checkered flag. Tim Stevens advances with him, drag race to the line. Borja Zazo emerges victorious by 5 thousandths of a second. Incredible.
Superb. That's what you want to see, but unfortunately for both of them, that only gives them positions in the last chance qualifier.
And so here's confirmation of the results. 3 seconds clear for Parker Retzlaff. Tim Stevens advances, so both drivers will be starting from the tail end of our inverted feature race. Last chance qualifiers ready to go. We'll only say goodbye to, I believe, one of these drivers in each of these races. 5 gridded up as we take a look at the Yokohama starting grid. Quirketize and Trevor Teal in the Nitro Circus Star Car on the front row. Luke Knupp, Michael Cozy Jr. and Simon Feigl on row number 2. Knupp got a monster launch in his heat. He'll be on the inside once more. Can he get the run down into that first corner on the inside of Quirketize? So there they are lined up, and it's a shame, Paul, that we'll only say goodbye to one of these drivers. The rest will make it through to the feature.
Yeah, absolutely will, and yeah, this is certainly going to be an intriguing race now. You do not want to be that last car across the line.
Let's see how this goes. Of course, remember, fixed setups for these drivers on the launch control. Last chance qualifier 1, ready to race. Did Quirketize jump the start? We'll find out now. Knupp gets the monster launch. In fact, the Altus car in the middle gets a good launch. Knupp's elbowing Quirk out of the way. Just about holds on to it, does he? They're still sideways entering the corner. That is great stuff. One of the Altus cars will have a slowdown penalty to serve. You'd have to assume that's Michael Cozy Jr. To the Joker lap comes Knupp and Trevor Teal.
And also the Altus car of Michael Cozy Jr. as well. So 3 drivers head to the Joker straight away. They just don't want to be that last car. As around they come, they're going to be nicely out on the run. And where is everybody else? They're squabbling at the back there. Quirketize and Feigl are having an absolute nightmare.
The gap between 3rd and 4th is already up to 3.6. So yeah, no, it's almost done and dusted, you have to assume. Now those two are fighting for the final transfer spot. In front, though, look at Knupp trying to set up the move over the jump. Smooth on the landing and in towards the dirt. They'll go, launching himself over the anti-cut curbs. Both Quirk and Feigl have taken to the Joker this time around, so they're squabbling midway through the Joker. Feigl elbows his way past Quirketize. That's the battle to watch. You'll see them coming through at the back of the shot right now. Remember, 4 cars go on through, 1 says goodbye.
I thought Knupp was going to end up joining them with the slowdown penalty he got from launching across those anti-cut curbs. But this is the battle that we want to look at, and right now, Quirk just getting it locked up going into that turn number 2. It's cost him some time, and Simon Feigl just needs to look forward. He can't afford to be racing in his mirrors. He's got to keep eyes forward here.
Feigl finished 2nd last time. I don't think he's in the worst position. If he advances from here, he'll start 2nd on the front row and on the outside of the front row, which is not, it might even be the preferred place to be. Side by side for the race lead. No, Teal doesn't even fight that one back. Bye-bye, Knupp, you've got the race lead.
Yeah, and you've also got a worse starting position. That's what Teal's thinking right there. You've got this this crazy position where all these drivers do not want to be the winner in this.
You want to be in the spot that Feigl is. He's 1.5 clear of Quirk now, so it'll be 1 lap to go next time around, so just under 0.8 of a mile left as they sling their way through the dirt. Remember, this is one of the tracks that's increasingly adding dirt. The next couple of races actually have more than 50% dirt on them. Here, though, it's 46% dirt. So 1 lap to go. Knupp, Teal, Cozy Jr., and Feigl looking good to advance. In fact, Feigl is closing up on his, it's not technically a teammate, I guess is I don't know what the right word is here.
Oh, his teammate, as, well, they're battling it out, the two of them. Now, they've got to be careful, because if they fight too hard, they'll bring Quirk back into this, although Quirk's had issues at the jump. So, I think we're safe to say, there's a spinner then. One of your Altus cars, but luckily, fortunate for them, Quirk had spun already, but winner, Luke Knupp.
Yeah, well, if we can get a replay of what happened to Quirk, I think that was quite entertaining. It was spectacular. He got it all sorts of wrong over the jump and then put on a show as well. Tony Hawk would have been proud of what happened there. So Knupp, Teal, and Feigl, top 3. Cozy Jr., as a result of that last lap spin, will emerge in the final transfer position that will net him 2nd place grid position for our 10-lap feature. Last chance qualifier 1 in the book. Let's take a look at the Yokohama starting grid for the 2nd last chance qualifier. And again, remember, 5 cars on the grid for advance. Borja Zazo, GoPro Lopez front row, Justin Melillo, Daniel Dye, and Aero on row number 2. Let's take a look at what happened to Quirk, because I said it was spectacular, Paul. Take a look at this.
Yep, so here we are then. Into there, he's doing a bit of showing off now. He's trying to do style points here, and then hits the inside of the curb, bang, into the wall, decides, well, I'm just going to keep my foot down, and on its roof.
I said Tony Hawk would be proud. Maybe not nailing the landing, but at least the ambition. Maybe Travis Pastrana in Nitro Circus a little bit more proud of that one. Well, for Michael Cozy Jr., he'll be quite happy. Simon Feigl, team manager, so I'm sure there's another word rather than teammate. Not employee, but you get the gist there. Ready to go, though. 5 more laps on the board. Last chance qualifier 2, ready to get underway. Good launch from GoPro Lopez. Looks like Melillo's hanging back on the start. Side by side, Lopez and Zazo squabbling. Does it open the door? With a car behind to sling on through? No, it doesn't. Cleanly through the first couple of corners. Who takes to the Joker this time around? None of the top 4. Interesting call there.
Well, we've seen one driver, Aero, heading to the Joker. So from the back there, so he's decided that that's a good spot to be on, and he's coming out of that joker right now. So he'll head to the front of the field, but Borjazazo et al., they know that they've got a joker yet to come. Look at GoPro Lopez here.
Well, Daniel Dye shoved his way past GoPro Lopez through the right-hand sweeper and now returns the favor and gets back past. Aero is 2.8 seconds clear of Borjazazo. None of those cars, both of those cars elect to take to the joker. Where does that feed them out? Remember, 2.9 to 3.2 second joker delta, and that's with the World Championship drivers who will be much more comfortable and able to execute on the joker. It's side by side between Aero and GoPro Lopez, but Aero emerges just behind. Remember, 4 drivers advance. They can't afford to trip over one another.
They certainly can't, but they've got a healthy lead. Daniel Dye, he is back there. He is, what, about 5.5 seconds behind. So Daniel Dye, I think they're safe from him and Melillo in this one right now. So these 3 at the front should be good to go. It's those final 2 fighting it out for 4th place, which will be your final transfer spot.
But this is a great fight at the front. Lopez slings it down the inside, uses that tarmac to rotate the car, almost shortcuts the track there, which you do need to be careful of. There used to be tire barriers on either side of the track. Now it's anti-cut curves, which can spit you around rather viciously. 2 laps ago this time around. Melillo in front of Dye. I have a feeling Melillo took to the joker. Yes, he did. You can see left-hand side of the screen illuminates when drivers take to that joker lap. So Daniel Dye, 4/10 back, should take to the joker in the next couple of laps. Does look as though, after a torrid weekend for Melillo from hell.
Oh, Zazo got it wrong then, over the jump. Gets it all sideways, and that's just dropped him to 3rd place. He's safe. Daniel Dye, you saw going through your picture, and there he is in the background, going through the joker.
So that confirms Melillo 3.3 back. And like I was saying, torrid weekend for Melillo at Hell Lankenbahn, and not just because he was having internet issues that were finally resolved. He was looking forward to heading to Phoenix and having some fun. Looks like the fun comes to an end here. 2 races to go for him after this one. I'm sure he will enjoy watching the World Championship action in just about 30 minutes time. Over the jump for the final time in this last chance qualifier, GoPro Lopez worked his way to the front of the field. Winner before, and now looking to become our first repeat winner in 2021. GoPro Lopez wins the 2nd of the last chance qualifiers. Aero, Borjazazo, and Daniel Dye through to our 10-lap feature along with him. We say goodbye to Justin Melillo. So 14 cars whittled down to the fastest 12. Here's a look at the race results here as GoPro Lopez, Aero, Borjazazo, and Daniel Dye separated by just 4 seconds. Pretty equal pace amongst those 4 competitors. Melillo off the back of the field after being a bit cautious on the start. Feature racing action next for our All-Stars. Don't go anywhere. On the iRacing Esports Network, the All-Stars are ready to deliver with 10 more laps of action.
Take your driving to the next level at Dirtfish. Gain confidence behind the wheel of an all-wheel drive Subaru STI or rear-wheel drive BRZ. Get sideways with skills on gravel, mud, and tarmac. Dirtfish offers programs for every driver. Visit dirtfish.com for details.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network for coverage of the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack, the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. My name is Arjuna Kenkipati. Alongside for the action for the fun is Paul Smith. And Paul, with only 2 heats, time has flown on by, but how much fun is it watching these guys? We also are seeing some crucial mistakes, especially over the jump, that we have to watch out for when the World Championship competitors head out there onto the track in just 30 minutes time.
Yeah, it's really, really key, is that jump. I did say about it at the start of the broadcast, but right now, you know, these drivers in the All-Stars, they're finding out the hard way how that is all panning out for them. Well,
I tell you what, we're going to focus now on the track itself a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more about this one, because we're getting to that point where more and more dirt is being put onto the track. You and I had talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and we were trying to figure out what track has the most dirt on that. That's going to be our season finale, almost 60% dirt. This one, though, is not far behind, 46% dirt. It's just under 0.8 of a mile in length. It is 9 distinct corners. Some of them kind of feed into one another. The Joker Delta, 2.9 seconds. Flat, but not that easy, Paul. And really, turns 1 and 2, going to be very careful to make sure you survive when the World Championship drivers get out onto track.
Yeah, you see that going into the start of a feature race, especially when you've got the most drivers on track here, going in through turns 1 and then turn 2, it is really, really difficult to get all of those cars through there safely. Contact inevitably does happen, which is kind of what you expect really in rallycross, but then you sort of sort yourselves out through the sweeping right-hander towards the Joker lap, and as we've been seeing so far, those drivers who are stuck in the pack, you'll see a few of them head to the Joker lap, try and get themselves some clean air to be able to get some quick lap times in, and then be able to jump people when they take their Joker lap as well. So it is a tricky track. You mentioned it is quite technical, and that's what you'll see here today. When we go to Sonoma next week, that's more of a flowing, wide open track, and it's certainly why yours truly here is going to be taking part in the All-Stars next week, I can officially announce. And no pressure, Paul. You're an All-Star Heat winner, so we're expecting some more good results from you. I've already got the big book of racing driver excuses at the ready, so... well, the first thing is you don't have any brakes right now, so that's your excuse. I'm getting used to new pedals next week, so there we go. There it is. There we go. I'm sure we'll have plenty more exciting things to come. Of course, Wine Country was our home to the season finale last year. This time around, though, penultimate round. We'll head to America's home from racing, Charlotte Motor Speedway, for our championship showdown in 2 weeks' time. What a journey it's been so far. Still plenty of twists and turns yet to come in the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. Warm-up has come to a close. It's time to take a look at our Yokohama starting grid for our 10-lap inverted feature event. And so on pole position, it will be Daniel Dye alongside Michael Cozy Jr. Row number 2, it's Borja Zazo, Simon Feigl, and Aero, while Trevor Teal will be alongside GoPro Lopez. 2x3 by 2x3, the regular grid will have 2 more cars at the tail end of our field. So that's the top 6 on your screen. GoPro Lopez, Luke Knupp, 7th and 8th positions. The dapperest man in all of sim racing, Tim Stevens and Nick Ottinger, race winners 7 days ago, complete the top 10. Parker Retzlaff and Connor Martell on the final row of our grid. So 12 cars for the first time will stack themselves up and launch themselves in towards turn number 1. The grid is set, tension in the air. We are ready for 10 laps of racing in our feature event for the iRacing All-Star Invitational here in the Phoenix Raceway. Looks like we've got another couple of seconds here of hold time, Paul. So what are you expecting from turns 1 and 2 here? Because it is going to be a little bit more helter-skelter, given how many cars we have on track. Carnage, chaos, disorder, thumping and barging. That's what I'm expecting, and we might end up with a surprise winner of this race. If you can get a good, clean start here and get out front, you never know. That's half the battle here at Phoenix International Raceway. But yeah, definitely, I'm going to be intrigued to see how those drivers who did so well in the heat races get on trying to drive through the pack here.
So quick prediction from you. I'm going to say Simon Feigl, who came in second 7 days ago.
I'm going to go GoPro Lopez.
Oh, so you're thinking our first repeat winner. I'm thinking 7 different winners in 7 rounds. Here we go, though. 10 laps on the board. Launch control, getting these cars set to launch themselves in towards turn number 1. Feature racing action here from Phoenix Raceway. And away we go. It is a good launch from Simon Feigl, but around the outside, Michael Cozy sweeps to the race lead. Borja Zazo gets spun around, so does Luke Knupp. They make contact there in the wall. It's an Altus 1-2, but it all comes to an end. Simon Feigl kicks off a chain reaction. What a disaster. Michael Cozy Jr. laughing all the way to the bank.
What did I say about if you can get a clean start and run away at the front, that's half the battle? Well, he's trying his best through the Joker lap here to try and throw this away. He doesn't seem to be 100% there. Rest of the field, though, well, it's everybody tripping up over who's going to be second place here.
And it's a good thing there's no damage for these cars, because we'd have some cars in the garage area for the next couple of weeks. Nick Ottinger somehow up to second place. He's got to do some good job here of using that clean air in front of him to close that gap in front, wait till the final stages to take that Joker.
Yeah, the thing is, Cozy, he's taken that Joker lap as well, so it's not like he's having to react to anyone now. He can just focus forward and just go for it, keep pushing on and seeing how he gets on here. So definitely, Ottinger, I mean, if anybody can do it, Nick Ottinger can do it, that's for sure. I mean, he's already getting that gap down to just 3 seconds here.
Yeah, it was 1.5 seconds quicker last time around, and apologies, I was waiting for the timing screen on the left side to update with the Joker. Side by side, Zazo and Teal coming into turn 2. There's a lot of contact between them. Teal almost goes off into the barriers. They're 3 abreast, and is that Connor Martell? Connor Martell should take to the Joker, and indeed, yes, he does.
Yeah, get out the way of this battle here. That'll just slow you down, and he's done the right thing. So too is Stevens and Knupp and Dye as well. So the rest of them heading to the Joker lap. It's the correct thing to do. And out they come then. And getting fired off to the side there.
Is that Tim Stevens? I think it was. Stevens drops below Borja Zazo, and well,
Stevens again, I think.
Yeah, that's what you call a roadblock.
If everybody missed him, then congratulations, tip of the hat to you, because that is some reactions if you missed him on track.
I have no doubt the production team is scrambling to get that queued up for us to take a look at, because that was intense. Here we go. Here's the iRacing look at what happened. So on board with the Roadshow editors, coming through the Joker, works his way onto the gravel. Luke Knupp sends it down the inside, and Stevens gives him a bit of a shove. Shove return for Stevens as he now tries to rejoin onto the track. What happens here?
He got hit from behind. And somebody did just clip him as he was coming back down on his wheels. So, yeah, fortunately for these All-Stars, they do have damage turned off here. The World Championship drivers, though, if that happened to a World Championship driver in the next series of races, then they will be out of it. But yeah, you're right. Race lead, Nick Ottinger. We said he was going to be catching up, and he's done exactly that.
And he's still got half the race to go, so there's no pressure for the 2020 eNASCAR iRacing champion to really get the move done. Patience very much the name of the game here. Just find it and wait for your opportunity to open itself up. Maybe it comes over the jump. We've already seen Michael Cozy Jr. make the mistake once, and look at him who's pointing to the right side of the track, landing over the jump. That's not what you want to do. Behind these guys, Connor Martell, Parker Retzlaff dueling it out as well. Some great action here from Phoenix Raceway.
Yeah, but did you see how Cozy was able to just get that car rotated quickly into that left-hander from that landing? So sometimes it can actually work out for you, that jump there. But Connor Martell, I'll tell you now, if they're not careful, if Nick Ottinger can't get past him soon, Martell, he's coming chasing them down.
Lap times are pretty consistent across the two of them. We're talking 400 slower for Martel last time around. So Cozy has picked up the pace. Let's give him some credit. I'll also say that I think Ottinger's playing nice. Not going to play nice too much longer as Retzlaff gets his elbows out with Martel. They're almost bumping doors still. Finally, Retzlaff gets the move done. It's side by side across the line. Cozy Jr. mounts the anti-cut curve, gives Ottinger the inside of turn number 1. Can Ottinger slide up the track in towards the braking zone of 2? Yes, he does. So the race lead, Nick Ottinger.
Oh, he needed to do that, and I think Cozy Jr. just cut it to perfection potentially there, because it looked very close to being a slowdown penalty for him there. But yeah, Nick Ottinger, good stuff from him to move to the front of the field. But Parker Retzlaff is looking quick here, it must be said.
Surely full of confidence after what happened last night, where he won the season opener in the eNASCAR iRacing Contender Series, as Michael Cozy Jr. for the second lap in a row launches himself over the anti-cut. Oh! That he's done it again! It's Mario Bonfante Jr. from Atlanta Motor Speedway last year personified. Well, that was huge. That was huge.
And there's a reason why they're called anti-cut curbs, because that is not a correct line through that corner. Fortunately, the catch fencing doing its job. Conor Martel caught that car then as well, but does carry on in 3rd place.
Oh, and I've just noticed GoPro Lopez has retired from the race. So as white flag is in the air, Parker Retzlaff, who is 7 points back from 7 points in front of Parker Retzlaff in the unofficial championship standings, that gap's going to come down. Still some action out on track. This is Canuck fighting with Daniel Dye. But Nick Ottinger has pulled a 3.5 second advantage at the front of the field. He's looking good to become our first repeat winner, as Conor Martel has made a mistake over the jump. He's launched himself up and over as well. All sorts of carnage, all sorts of chaos, but it doesn't matter for Nick Ottinger. He controlled the race after getting to the race lead. Our first repeat winner, Nick Ottinger, wins at Phoenix. To Parker Retzlaff across the line in 2nd. Knupp will inherit a podium as a result of all that chaos. Daniel Dye in 4th. Borja Zazo follows behind Simon Feigl after a 2nd place finish 7 days ago. At least finishes in the top 6. But incredible, and just reminds you that the margin of error is ultra small. Whether you're an all-star, whether you're a world championship driver. Here's a look at the results. As mentioned, Ottinger, Retzlaff, and Knupp the top 3, with Daniel Dye, Borja Zazo, and Feigl through 6th. Trevor Teal, Michael Cozy Jr., Conor Martel, and Tim Stevens complete the top 10. With 2 retirees late in this race, Aero retired on the final lap. GoPro Lopez didn't even survive past lap number 1. Well, I'm catching my breath and trying to save my voice for what we've still got ahead. All-Stars are done. Don't go anywhere on the iRacing Esports Network. We'll talk to the All-Stars right after this. Well, the All-Stars put on a show once more. This one a bit more acrobatic in their attempts, as we welcome you back to the iRacing Esports Network for coverage of the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack: the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. And Paul, I'm still a little bit in shock. First it was Michael Cozy Jr. putting on the acrobatics at the end of that feature, and then it was Conor Martel. This track really proves there is no margin for error no matter where you are on the track. Something to keep our minds on as we head into the World Championship race in just a few moments' time.
Well, I mentioned it in commentary, didn't I? There's a reason why they're called anti-cut curbs. Don't cut them, is what you have found out here today. But that jump is proving to be such a brutal challenge for those drivers out here today. Now, of course, these drivers have had to race with what's known as a default setup. So it's a setup that comes with the car here on iRacing. The World Championship drivers, they've been dialing in their cars all week, so they'll have maybe got their suspension set up to be able to absorb that jump a bit better. But my goodness, I said it was going to be drama-filled, didn't I?
That indeed. Let's take a look then at the replay of what happened at the end of that feature before we get to our post-race interviews, because still a little bit in shock that someone like Conor Martel could make a mistake like this. The 2018 iRX 2 Drivers' Champion. But again, just emphasizes how difficult it is. Clips the wall in the inside, and as our production team has said, yeets himself over the wall, up and over he goes, and Martel lands in our start zone where the cars, of course, started that race. So that kind of illustrates just how chaotic that race was. But a man who didn't have so much chaos after lap number 1 was Nick Ottinger, who becomes our first repeat winner in 2021. Nick, delighted to be able to talk to you again. Delighted you joined us for an all-star race here. Talk to us about lap number 1 there.
Well, lap 1 was pretty chaotic. I had a good launch, and I was able to get in front of Connor, and I thought I was positioned really good, and then I couldn't tell what was happening to my right, to be honest. It was some guys getting clipped on the inside, and then just pure chaos. It was fun getting through it. I had a good battle with Michael Cozy there, another Logitech G driver, and I thought we were going to be flipped on the first lap, but thankfully we came through it, and it was still a really, really good event for our team. And this is going to be my last one, unfortunately, this year, but I was glad to be able to do 2 of them, and appreciate you guys having me.
Well, 100% record then in this All-Star 2021 campaign. I know you went to a race this past weekend for the NASCAR Cup Series supporting your team boss, William Byron. How was that experience? How much fun was it to go and see the cars on track?
Oh, man, you talk about a chaotic race, too, like pressure filled. I mean, obviously, it's the final 8, and, William, he's definitely a really good leader when it comes to sim racing and just to lead his 24 team. And, it's just something, a great experience. I've never been on the infield of, a NASCAR track like that, and right next to the 24 team, the pit crew, and, watching Rudy up on the box and stuff. So, being able to at least spend time a little bit before the event too, doing an interview with William at the eNASCAR hauler was even, I thought was a really, efficient and effective change for us, personally for me, doing sim racing and then just talking, to the fans about, what William does, how he leads, and stuff of that nature. So, a great experience. I kind of wish more people could experience that, because, it is it's once in a lifetime deal, understanding just what goes in, for the pit crew and stuff like that.
And so, you're going to be helping, I think, spot for some of these competitors coming up next. What does this track hold for the competitors? From your World Championship experience, obviously not on the rallycross side of things, but I'm sure you've got a lot of pointers that you've now built up, having gotten that opportunity to head out onto track.
Yeah, it's a different change, like you mentioned. Obviously, I don't do these rallycross events much, but, I'm able to lean on, very capable drivers too, Matt Booth and Josh Fox. And unfortunately, Josh is not going to be at this event tonight because he's suspended. But, I'm still going to be doing my best to help Busa. And, just the hardest thing's really just kind of dictating and being patient with this car and getting it to the asphalt for the last section. And that's what I was struggling with for a little bit before practice. And we got a little bit better, in the race doing that. So I think who's being able to utilize that curb and not get any slowdowns in the last section for the asphalt is going to be pretty competitive.
Well, congratulations on your 100% race record. Paul Smith thinks you're not going to be in action next week because you're scared of racing him, but glad you could join us for these 2 races, Nick, and looking forward to seeing you back in 2022 for eNASCAR action.
Thank you, man.
So that was Nick Ottinger, your 2020 eNASCAR iRacing champion, a 2-time winner in our 2021 iRacing Rallycross All-Stars Series. Parker Retzlaff won last night at this very track in the eNASCAR Contender Series. Paul Smith is standing by with the driver who finished in 2nd place.
Yeah, you must absolutely love this place, Parker, after winning last night and now here today in second place. It's not a bad couple of days for you here, is it?
No, it's definitely not a bad couple of days. I mean, I did, end up winning the race last night, and then I came into here and I had a lot of confidence, and I feel like I was gonna be really good after turn one, after the whole mess that happened. I ended up just getting turned at the end of it all, but it was overall a really good race. Nick was the fastest car, so I guess the fastest car did end up winning.
And we've seen how with this car you can really have some challenges in this one. Just explain to people at home just what is it about this particular track that makes it such a challenge here at Phoenix?
Yeah, I mean, you have to try and get your car across the asphalt at any place you can to get grip, and then you have to worry about the curbs, and the curbs can flip you over and upset the car. It's just all challenging and trying to just make sure you're perfect, otherwise it upsets the car.
Well, we touched on it then. So you won last night, opening round of the NASCAR Contender Series. I mean, you look at that process; it's so intense. Is that process just how do you sort of prepare yourself for events like that when there is so much on the line of trying to get qualified for next season?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of practice, a lot of time. You gotta be willing to put in the time and the effort, and have good people around you to make it all work.
Certainly so, but I suppose really for these events here in the All-Stars, it's a nice sort of relaxed environment. You could just blow off some steam and have some fun out there.
Yeah, it's just all fun, and just trying to make it entertaining for everybody watching and guys, and it's just all about having fun.
Well, it certainly is entertaining for us to watch, that's for sure. But, well, thank you very much for joining us here, Parker, and all the best for you continuing in the eNASCAR Contender Series.
Thank you.
So that was Parker Retzlaff. Next up, it's Luke Knupp, who completes our podium positions. Luke, interesting race there, and I'm sure some of your real-world experience just prepared you for the chaos and carnage of the opening lap there.
Oh, yeah, that was pure chaos out there. It was kind of crazy, just everyone crashing everywhere, and then I had a really good start, and then it quickly just went to me spinning into the wall. So luckily we got repairable damage on, and just tried to make my way up to the front. Messed up the jump one time, crashed into the tire barrier, so shouldn't have ended up third, but somehow I did.
And this is one of those tracks where I think just staying calm and surviving is important. For the World Championship drivers, what did you pick up on in those opening couple of laps where you'd kind of be pointing, giving some tips to them?
Honestly, I think you just want to make it through the start, stay patient, and just got to know the track. Usually the track comes in towards the end, this one goes away, so you got to be easy on the jump towards the end, and then just try to easy on the throttle, easy on the brakes to not lock up and miss turn one.
How much fun have you had doing this, Luke? I know it's a bit quiet for you in the real-world competition, so as Paul was saying to Parker just a moment ago, a chance for you to blow off some steam, but racing drivers are always competitive, no matter what environment you put them in. So I'm sure you're also enjoying the competition aspect of things.
Oh, yeah. The whole shutdown's been crazy. Luckily, it's all starting to come back, but this iRX All-Stars has been really fun, and really I've had a blast doing it, just trying to get better in the rallycross cars. I'm usually doing all the trucks, flying through the air, but this one's a little bit more skill to take, or to get faster. You got to be good on road and dirt at the same time. So it was really fun, and can't wait for the last 2 rounds.
Can't wait to see you at Sonoma, and of course after that, the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Congratulations on the podium. We'll see you in 7 days' time.
Thank you. I just want to thank all my guys that helped me. Darren, Matt, Ultras, Wheels, Reaper Speed Lab, Rigid Industries, Impact Race Gear, Desert Squadron, my dad, Travis Williams Motorsports, and Parker Retzlaff for helping me out.
So Retzlaff and Knupp working together, second and third positions for them. Second place last time out was Simon Feigl. This time not the easiest of races for him, finishes down in P6. Paul Smith is standing by with the Altus team boss.
Yeah, Simon had to do it the hard way here today. Didn't qualify automatically in the heat, then had to have the worry of last chance qualifier, and then P6 in the end here today. I mean, Simon, it didn't look easy out there.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I actually thought I'd had a pretty good run in the heat. It was all going well, and then and on the rejoin on the heat, like it ended up, there was a car there and I didn't realize it, and and ending up get shoved into the concrete wall. So that was fun. But and then in the I actually thought into for the feature that it was going to be all good. Like I thought this was a great move, and then slightly hit the curb and then into Daniel, and then it was just all hell broke loose after that. But it was a tough one, but it's all good fun.
Well, that's it. You put the word right there, fun, because these all-star events, I mean, we just have a barrel of laughs watching it, and you guys are going to have to put up with a certain broadcaster racing in it next week. But looking at your boys, I mean, I don't want to sort of be the down guy, so let's be the positives. It's a new week, it's a new challenge, it's a new way of it's a different attitude, I think, especially from Burr, from what I've seen of him on social media. The pressure's off to a degree, isn't it, now in the World Championship?
Definitely, and that's like, it's just all about fun now, pretty much. So just go out there and have some fun. Obviously, be respectful because it is a World Championship, but definitely just go out and have fun and don't don't kill yourself about it, like, if you know what I mean. So it's just like, just go out there, have fun, and make the most of what's left of the season. And that could be the thing that turns it all around. It could be, but if it doesn't, it is what it is, and that's fine. But it's sort of just a different mentality at this point.
And a burning question for me then is: are you racing next week in the All Stars?
Quite possibly. I think I will, but we'll see. We might, depending on if anyone else within the team, we might do that as well. So I don't know, but there'll definitely be two Altus cars, that's for sure.
Oh, I mean, Simon Feigl just running scared, just like Nick Ostinger from racing against me. Am I really that dangerous out there on track?
If you're racing,
need to answer that.
I think would have to happen. I think if you're racing, let's do it.
But I mean, just finally then, so it's Phoenix. What are the keys for you to be successful around this circuit here today in the World Championship coming up?
I'm still trying to work that out myself, but I mean, definitely, I don't think it's that different than a lot of others in terms of you just want to have as much clear road as you can, and just survive the opening bit, and then try to buy as much of the clear road as you can, and then happy days from there. But I think that's really the key, but we'll see what happens. We haven't always done that. We haven't had too much of it, particularly in the first part of that equation, which is just getting through the opening few corners. I think after that, it's quite well behaved and reasonable. But it's just that opening that that's what we've struggled with. So hopefully we can unlock that today.
Well, Simon, I'll let you get away and figure out what it takes to actually win around here. But all the best, and look forward to seeing you guys next week.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Have a good call.
So that was Team Boss for Altus Esports, now joined by his driver, Michael Cozy Jr. And Michael, you put an acrobatic showcase for us there in the closing laps. Talk to us about that little mistake onto the anti-cut curb, and you learned very quickly that, as Paul put it, there's a reason why it's called an anti-cut curb.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I gotta say, I made my first start last week, and then this is my second, and I have a lot of respect for these guys who do this stuff really well. This is not my cup of tea, as you guys may have noticed, and made just a small mistake there. I don't know what in the world happened behind me there off the start, but I got off to such a huge lead, I couldn't believe it, and I was cruising there, but not fast enough, and Ottinger came up there behind me. I knew he was super quick. He knew what he was doing. I was giving a hell though, trying to get after it, lap in, lap out, and not make any major mistakes. And I thought I could hold on for the podium. And I'd actually got to slow down the curb just before that, and I was more focused on that almost, and just missed my turn in by a little bit. And I don't know what in the world I did, but man, that was something.
It sounds like you've got a huge smile on your face, but I do have to ask you, your eNASCAR Contender Series campaign started last night at this very track. I know it didn't go the way that you wanted, so this must be a quite nice way for you to blow off the steam and have some fun here on the iRacing service.
No, absolutely. Just like you said it, yeah, super disappointing last night, but to come out here and have some fun this afternoon. Yeah, like I said, I've hardly done any rallycross or any of this kind of stuff before. I'd done just a couple laps at this track before when it first came out on the service, but this is super fun, even though I did something really, really silly there. But no, this is, I love this kind of discipline. It's fun learning. And I have some really good teammates to bounce off of, but yeah, hopefully I can come back next week and do some more. It is really super fun trying to learn it all, and hopefully I won't go airborne next week.
And how much practice are you putting in for this? I hope you're basically doing a couple of laps right before the session goes up and then jumping in with very little practice.
That is about right. I sat down 20 minutes before, tried to get everything I could. Obviously, a lot of focus went into the eNASCAR stuff last night at Phoenix, but I had a little bit more practice the first week. This week, not so much, but hopefully we get a couple more next week, and like I said, not go airborne.
Well, you put on a show. That's I think, the most important thing. Congratulations, and so much fun having you, Michael. Can't wait to see you in 7 days' time.
Thank you so much.
So that was Michael Cosi Jr., one man who put on a show, and now we talk to another man who loves to put on a show in the Nitro Circus Star Car. It was Trevor Teal. And Trevor, we've got you on the webcam as well, so we're taking a look at your Halloween costume right now. Talk to us about this, because I know you were racing in this costume, not just today, but this past weekend as well.
Yeah, I haven't taken it off yet. I'm just been so stoked on it. It's brought me some good luck out there. Made 2 features with it, so we're going to keep that rolling.
And so, as I can take it, you're a pickle, correct?
Yes, I am.
Pickle Rick?
Pickle Teal, or a teal pickle.
I like that. How much? I know you're a rallycross fan. You don't just compete in this. Like I said, you were racing this past weekend in this costume with some rallycross stuff. How much fun is it for you to be here on these Wednesday afternoons and just go out there, have some fun with some great sim racers? We've got, World Championship caliber sim racers, but also they're not here today with the likes of Bilko Williams, Ron Capps, etc., etc.
Yeah, this has been a crazy opportunity, and I've had so much fun doing it. Like you said, racing against Bilko, I've watched him for so many years, and Connor Daly, it's just fun. No other way to put it than I'm lucky, So it's been great.
And I know you're in the Nitro Circus Star Car. Talk to us a little bit about what you get to do for them and all of the stuff that you do when you're streaming.
Yeah, so I just have a really good relationship with Nitro Circus. I've been lucky enough they've kept me around, get to hang out with a lot of guys there, so it's been a lot of fun. I can't thank them enough.
And I see you've got the hat there, warning about Nitro Circus, so I'm sure they would have been pretty excited about some of the stuff that we saw today. Talk to us about that lap number 1, because that was potentially the most chaotic start we've had so far in these all-star races.
Yeah, that was a little hectic. I think I even blacked out at one point. But, yeah, I tried to make it through, and then there was cars on top of me and stuff, so that was pretty gnarly.
Well, I love your costume. Hopefully we can get you on Zoom for the rest of the races as well with all sorts of different costumes. Remember, we've got 2 more races, so you can spice things up for us.
All right, we'll see what's next then.
Congratulations, Trevor. Hopefully we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time for our next 2 races. Unfortunately, we were having so much fun chatting with our various All-Stars that we have run out of time to complete it. Unfortunately, Mr. Aero HD Keenan Kusin is unable to join us, but that's because World Championship action is next on the iRacing Esports Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back from Phoenix Raceway, where the World Championship drivers are ready to get underway with round 7 in the 2021 campaign.
Today's new cars have upwards of 100 computers in them and a dashboard rivaled only by a commercial airliner. But wouldn't it be nice to really know what all that does for you? At Roadshow, we demystify the world of modern transportation with reviews of your next car, the latest news on what's changing the industry, and videos covering every screen and every new feature you'll encounter in the driver's seat.
Get informed, get smart, and get going with Roadshow. Take your driving to the next level at Dirtfish. Gain confidence behind the wheel of an all-wheel drive Subaru STI or rear-wheel drive BRZ. Get sideways with skills on gravel, mud, and tarmac. Dirtfish offers programs for every driver. Visit dirtfish.com for details.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in endorsed series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
In 2018, Nitro Rallycross took the racing world by storm with the biggest jumps, the best drivers, and the most intense action ever. In 2021, Nitro Rallycross is expanding with 5 epic races. From the mountains to the Great Lakes, the desert, and the Sunshine State, Nitro Rallycross is coming to a racetrack near you. Nitro Rallycross, the series, revving up and taking off this September.
It's time for the Duel in the Desert. The 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship has had plenty of twists and turns, but now in the Duel of the Desert, 3 rounds are left in the 2021 campaign. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack, the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. My name is Arjuna Kangipati, delighted to be alongside Paul Smith, as always, for today's coverage of the World Championship action. And Paul, we're on a track that has already delivered some incredible moments across 3 previous seasons of iRacing Rallycross World Championship history. It's already delivered some entertaining moments with our All-Stars, but I think today is really about consistency. Last week, Joni Ollikainen, John Robinson had to make their way through the last chance qualifiers, put themselves on the back foot. Yes, they secured some valuable championship points, but Tommy Holman closed the gap. Mathematically, there are still 4 drivers with a World Championship chance, but realistically, it's 3 drivers left to fight with 3 races left to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if ever there was opportunity for drivers to catch up to John Robinson, then last week was that opportunity, but he didn't give them a chance to catch up by that much because he put on a tremendous display, as did Joni Ollikainen as well in that feature race. It shows the level of talent that him and his compatriots as well have out there to be able to just pull off a display like that. A track that's notoriously difficult to overtake at. Speaking of being difficult to overtake at, Phoenix, it's not the easiest place to overtake at. I feel like I say this every week.
What a segue to our track details as well. Let's talk a little bit about Phoenix Raceway. Just under 0.8 miles in length, 9 turns, 54% pavement, 46% dirt. That is the most dirt we've had so far in 2021. Joker Delta about 3 seconds in length, and we've already seen one of the difficult points on this track, the jump that is alongside the Joker here. It took out Michael Cozy Jr. in spectacular fashion, but it's not just Michael Cozy that's made a mistake like that. The iRacing Rallycross GOAT, Mitchell de Jong, made that mistake the very first time the series came here. I would not be shocked if we see that again in the 2021 World Championship race.
Yeah, it can certainly throw up some surprises, and as I say, you're turning whilst you're coming onto the jump there, so it unsettles the car up over, you land wrong, and before you know it, you're heading towards a tyre wall.
And so, last year's winner, Tommy Holman, let's see if he can make it 6 wins in his Rallycross career. He is now the 2nd most successful driver in terms of wins in this World Championship. Here's a look at our schedule. Reminder, 3 races to go in 3 consecutive weeks. So Phoenix today will be heading west to Wine Country and Sonoma Raceway in 7 days' time. And then we'll head to America's home of racing, the Charlotte Motor Speedway, to close off our 2021 campaign. Let's very quickly show you the live point standings because we've only got 30 seconds left in qualifying, and it is an almighty fight at the top. Our defending reigning world champion Johan Hart has been fighting on 2 fronts. He's still mathematically in with a chance of a world championship crown, but let's be realistic. 63 points back, Paul. It is up to those top 3 cars, 21 points separating them.
Absolutely, that championship fight is so big, and John Robertson, he just needs to get some really good results for the next 3 rounds. He doesn't need to win anything, and he can be champion, but it's that fight for the relegation spot to get yourself automatically in. Jake Robertson by 5 points over Garrett Maines, and it's still, just 5 points down to Otto Taskinen in 15th.
With that being said, let's take a look at our Yokohama starting grid and hand out our Yokohama Pole Award. For the 5th time in 2021, it's John Robertson that takes pole position. He claims the Yokohama Pole Award in 2021. Kilian Delomo, great qualifying performance from him. He'll be alongside on row number 1, Otto Taskinen, Alex Bergeron, who returns to the series after a suspension last time out. In the middle with Jacob Raffos on the outside. Thomas Wangen in 6th with Marcos Matamoros, who made his 2nd feature race appearance in all-time rallycross history after 21 races. Will line up at the tail end of our 7-car grid. For Robertson, that is crucial, Paul, because we know points are handed out in qualifying, in the heat, and in the feature as well.
Absolutely, and he wants to get a good launch here, get away at the front, run away with this one, get maximum points before you go into that feature race.
And so here we go. The run to the championship begins now. 3 races left. John Robertson on pole position. Can he sweep the weekend once more? And away we go here in Phoenix. It's a good launch from Robertson, but Delomo around the outside will try and get the run in towards turn number 2. Taskinen has to go very aggressive on the defense as they slide their way into turn 2. Robertson side by side with Delomo. Surely Delomo will go Joker this time around. Yes, he does, but Taskinen gets shoved around.
Oh, Taskinen will be absolutely furious with that one, but it's only the slightest of contact. The car's loaded up around that corner, and before you know it, you're facing the wrong way. But you see those 3 then, Delomo, Bergeron, Wangen, all through the Joker lap. John Robertson, he's not that far behind. He's in a prime position to be able to get the Joker jump.
So that gap between Robertson and your race leader is about 2.6 seconds. So Robertson is in a good spot, but I would argue might want to hold off the Joker at least for a lap or so. And indeed he does. He gets a little bit close to landing into the wall. I should say the tire barriers on the outside of the jump, but flirting with disaster, that's what Rallycross is all about. Sliding through the gravel. Remember, 2 cars will advance to our feature, the rest through to the last chance qualifiers. On board with the King of the Dirt, Alex Bergeron, 22, World of Outlaws, and USAC wins here on the iRacing service. Of course, didn't start last time around because of a race suspension, missed out on the feature just before that, but he'll be looking to close off this campaign in good form. Of course, his World of Outlaws title defense starts very shortly as well.
Absolutely, but you can see how these drivers, especially through this right-hander here, look how they're hooking the inside wheels over the tarmac, the asphalt there. They're trying to get the grip off of that to get the launch out that corner, but look at Robertson to the head of your field.
Made it look easy as well. 2 laps this time around. As the left-hand side of your screen updates, you'll also notice that Robertson has red on his name, red on his car as well. That denotes the championship leader. This was the situation Robertson was in 12 months ago. It came down to the wire in Wine Country. Ultimately, Robertson lost out as his teammate Johan Hart prevailed. Robertson wants to make sure that is not the case this time around. Delomo wants to rob him of the race lead. You were talking about clambering over the anti-cut curbs and onto that tarmac on the inside. Doesn't necessarily work out, but Delomo looking feisty. Raffos in front of Wangen coming off the Joker.
I tell you what, Delomo is pushing Robertson all the way here, doing a sterling job, but I just think Robertson's just got that little edge over him around here on this final lap.
up and over the jump. Watch the attitude of the car as they land. We saw on a couple of occasions cars pointed to the right, but Robertson pointed to the left. He knows where he wants to go. Robertson wins heat number 1 as they come through the final corner. He's made it a clean sweep of the weekend on a couple of occasions so far this year. Can he make it 3 as he wins heat number 1? Delomo advances to his 5th straight feature event, all straight from the heat. No messing around in the last chance qualifiers. Taskinen will bring up the rear end of the field. What a drive from Robertson, Delomo through with Bergeron, Rafos, Wangen, and Taskinen through to the last chance qualifiers. Marcus Matamoros, not sure what happened there, but looks like it did not start for him. Here's a look then at your Yokohama starting grid for heat number 2, and it's where the set esports cars will line up on the front row. Tommy Holman and Joni Ollikainen have to work together. They can't afford the rest of the field to swarm them on the start. Jake Robertson and Bo Albert and Garrett Maines on row 2, while Sindre Silva and Johannes Vahanen will complete our grid. Great to have Vahanen back in action after being on holiday last time out. The 38-year-old spending some time with his family. And for Bo Albert, we were talking with his team manager, Paul. He's not come into this with a whole heap of preparation. He has been ultra frustrated in the first 6 rounds of this championship. But that now he can let the tension roll away from him and just have some fun out on track.
And that's it. He needs to have that different attitude. And when things haven't gone your way, you have to just try a couple of different things.
And so we are ready to go for heat number 2. 5 more laps on the board. For Holman and Ollikainen, they need to control this race. It's a good launch from the set cars. They'll cover off Bo Albert, who also got the whole shot down in towards turn number 1. A little bit of bumping, and that sent Ollikainen into the wall. Ollikainen will drop down through the field. He's now stuck in 4th position. That was a little bit surprising. Ollikainen in a world of trouble right now.
Oh, and I tell you what, Garrett Maines giving Ollikainen a bit of a shock as well. I think Maines, big wreck, and that's Ollikainen involved in that as well. And Bo Albert, how on earth is he still out in front of them?
Well, Bo's going to be pretty furious, I can tell you what, but he's going to still have a smile on his face given that he survived. Ollikainen needs to now make sure he doesn't cost time while battling with Bo Albert. Here's a look at the Joker. There was almost contact between the Offerpad Subaru and Elliott Sadler esports driver of Garrett Maines. He throws it into the Joker just a little bit too hot. Albert ping-pongs off the wall. Maines goes up in the air. Ollikainen squeaks on through. You can see the extent of the damage, though, to the 06 Altus esports machine.
Yeah, and there's cars going around the Joker lap as well as Jake Robertson and Sindre Silva have jumped these two. Ollikainen is looking at a last chance qualifier here in his days. Just sneaked past Bo Albert, who must be really struggling with that car. That car will steer like a pig. It'll be awful to drive.
No free damage for these cars like we saw with the All-Stars. They have to pay the price for whatever contact they have gotten. Ollikainen might take his position there. Looks like Sindre Silva made a mistake on the jump. Yes, he did. The Yokohama machine very, very wide. Coming through the Joker is Johannes Vahanen. You'll see him emerge at the outside of your shot right now. He'll be in front of Bo Albert. He's got the momentum on Joni Ollikainen, though, as they come in towards turn number 1. Robertson, Jake Robertson, I should say, looks to make it 2 Robertsons in our feature for Jake. Another driver that's not enjoyed the best of season so far. But again, this is what Rallycross is about, making sure you take advantage of whatever opportunity you can. Here's a look at the replay. Silva into the tire barriers, and that's what made him go wide.
Yeah, and I've been pushing that agenda all the way through this broadcast, haven't I? That jump is evil and it will catch a lot of drivers out. I will say, by the way, Bo Albert, Garrett Maines, that's not the first time those two have got together this season, and for the second time in a row, the second time for Bo Albert has ended up with some serious damage.
I think that was Brands Hatch, the last time they came together. I know Bo wasn't too happy about how that one came, especially how the tension was resolved. So maybe some lingering emotions there for both of the drivers. Meanwhile, out front, Tommy Holman looking to make it 3 wins on the trot. He controls heat number 2. Unfortunately for his teammate, to the last chance qualifier with Joni Ollikainen for the second time this season, Jake Robertson through to the feature. For Robertson, made 5 feature appearances. I should say, no, it's the 3rd feature appearance for Jake Robertson so far in 2021. Made 4 feature appearances last year. Another driver not enjoying the best of campaigns here in 2021. Here's confirmation of the results. Ollikainen, Vähänen, Albert, Silva, and Mains into the last chance qualifier. Heat number 3 ready to grid up. And here's a look at the Yokohama starting grid. Johan Harth, Luis Nunez on the front row, the defending champion, looking to try and win in Phoenix once more, but lots of work for him to do. Atu Hakaleta, who just turned 15 years of age, alongside Toni Latinmäki. History was made for Jarno Leskinen 7 days ago, the youngest ever podium winner in iRacing history. He'll be alongside Matt Busa at the tail end of this field. Should be noted, 2 drivers had suspensions last week. That was Bergeron and Toivonen. This time around, it's Vicente Salas and Josh Fox with suspension. So once more, 26 drivers means our final 2 heats, 6 drivers apiece. If you're Johan Harth, Paul, you can't afford for another bad race here.
Yeah, he needs to get a clean start, get away, and get to the front of this field.
Even if it's not for the championship. Racing drivers want to succeed whenever they race. Ready to go in heat number 3 as the cars lean on the launch control. And lights out, away we go. Harth controls the launch, immediately looks to cover off Luis Nunez. Jarno Leskinen sideways along with Toni Latinmäki. They'll get it pointed in the right direction. Out of turn number 2, Harth and Nunez in control. And this is when that Joker strategy comes into play. Top 2 cars come down. Atu Hakaleta stays out there on track.
Yeah, and that's it. The front 2, they've taken that straight away because they don't want anybody else getting in front of them on track. And so that means that they can then just have that gap at the front, work that clean air, and work through to the end of this race and get themselves into a feature. Slow down penalty there for, I believe that's Matt Busa. Yes, it is. And yeah, that's what happens if you just cut too much around those final corners.
So for the US Air Force Ed Carpenter Racing Subaru, more struggles for Busa. Launching over the jump, though, is the defending champion Harth. Luis Nunez trying to close him down. It's been an impressive rookie campaign for Nunez. 3 features, best finish of the top 5 at Brands Hatch. Take a look at the bottom. You can see what happened between Busa, I believe it was, and one of his other competitors. Might have been Toni Latinmäki that gave Busa that slowdown penalty. Just a little bit of contact. A little bit of argy-bargy, just comes unstuck. Leskinen to the Joker last time around. Does look as though Harth and Nunez pretty clear of the rest of the field. It's about 3.5 seconds between Nunez and Hakaleta, the first car in line that hasn't taken to the Joker. If Nunez can keep this up, he's looking comfortable as he tries to hook to the inside of the track.
Yeah, Johan Harth looks so comfortable up at the front there, just really smoothly throwing the car around. There's the Joker man then for Latinmäki, and he moves forward ahead of Hakaleta. But yeah, Harth just looks so comfortable at the front of this field right now, and there's nobody who's yet to take a Joker lap close enough to use that delta to try and get the jump as Hakaleta now heads to the Joker.
Harth, who took pole position here in 2019. He won the 2nd race that we had at Phoenix in our inaugural iRacing Rallycross World Championship event. He's also made it to every single feature race in World Championship history here in the desert of Arizona. Should have had 2 victories, if we're being honest, as well. It started from first position in the features on multiple occasions, but had some contact. I think that's the way we'll put it. Had some contact in 2019, ended up finishing down in 7th position. He's controlled this 3rd heat of the day, though. He's 1.7 seconds clear. Hakaleta took to the Joker, only emerged in front of Jarno Leskinen. And out of the final corner, the defending champion will win heat number 3. Championship hopes might not be at the forefront of his mind, but victories will be for the Subaru Motorsports team. A 2nd heat race win of the evening. Luis Nunez advances to his 4th feature event of the season. Atu Hakaleta, Jarno Leskinen, Matt Busa, and Toni Latinmäki heading to the last chance qualifiers, but it's fast and frenetic rallycross racing. Next up is heat number 4. Let's take a look at the Yokohama starting grid. So it's Kevin Ellis Jr. who leads the Dirtfish Rookie of the Year standings. That will be alongside the returning Rasmus Tuominen. Quintin Delorme, Luis Lejeune, and Luke Kraus on row number 2, with Tommi Nukkarainen, the final car in our 6-car lineup. Nukkarainen, who does lead our Hard Charger award tracker, he has gained more than 50 positions in 6 weeks of racing. For Kevin Ellis Jr., let's see what he can do, Paul. He's been ultra impressive so far in 2021.
Yeah, had a couple of unfortunate results for him in 2021, but he's really impressed as Kevin in his first time in this World Championship.
Still searching for that elusive victory. He took a win for the Rahal Letterman Lanigan team in the 2021 Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup. Wants to do the same in this Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. Ready to race for heat number 4. And away we go. It's a good launch from Tuominen around the outside, trying to pinch Ellis Jr. to the inside, but Ellis Jr. is having none of it. Up the track and making contact. It's going to force the e-racer machine to slide his way through the corner. Delorme holds on. Around goes Louis Lejeune.
Oh, he's getting bullied there. They're bringing back the biff out here in this 4th heat race. This is where things generally start to really intensify out there on track, because these drivers, they know what it means to get through to that feature race automatically. And Ellis Jr. is running away. He's taken his Joker lap. He's just trying to get away from the rest of them and just focus on himself.
He has the Delta, but if I'm Tuominen, might think about jokering early doors here and trying to make sure that you put the pressure onto that car out front. That's Luke Kraus who takes to the joker, who will slot in front of Nukkarainen. Great shot over the jump that we have and works its way around that double right-hander. Kraus is going to come out in front of Tuominen. That's what I was a little bit worried about when it came to that joker strategy. And there you can see the Nitro Circus car emerges in front of the set GRX machine. Tuominen has to joker next time around.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get held up by Kraus at all here. This is going to be crucial for him. He's almost bumping his way past Kraus through turn number 2, but you want to see him jump off to the left. There we go. That's exactly what we expected from Tuominen, and that's what he's doing out there.
And again, it's a shortcut here in the American Rallycross layouts. Last couple of races, it's been a time penalty in each of our European races. Not the case as we return to the United States of America. Tuominen about half a second behind Kevin Ellis Jr. Ellis Jr. now has to hold on for 2 more laps. Left-hand side of your screen, you'll also see Nukkarainen took to the joker last time around. They're about 2.8 seconds behind these top 2 competitors. Does mean between these 2 cars, don't trip over one another. They're looking at tickets straight to the feature.
Yeah, and that's what your spotter needs to be doing. If you've got your spotter in your ear there, you've got to have them there saying, look, you're in a good spot right now. Don't fight. You're clear. Just keep it clean, and you're into that feature.
I was watching Kevin Ellis Jr. compete yesterday with the NTT IndyCar Series driver, Scott McLaughlin, not having the best of lucks in the LMP2 car. I'm sure he'll be pretty happy to at least get this 2021 Rallycross campaign back on sure footing after Hell Lankenbanen wasn't the kindest to the Rahal Letterman Lanigan machines. Not the first time this season we would have seen both the Rahal Letterman Lanigan machines in a feature event, but not as common as they would have hoped. Only on 2 occasions so far this year have we seen both the red and black cars into the feature. But out of the final corner, Kevin Ellis Jr. wins heat number 4. Rahal Letterman Lanigan will be watching on with delight. Rasmus Tuominen, on his return to the series after a race suspension, will advance to his 5th feature of the season. Quintin Delorme leads the cars heading to the last chance qualifiers. Here's confirmation: Nukkarainen 4th, Kraus 5th, and Lejeune, after being elbowed off the road on lap number 1, brings up the tail end of our 6-car grid. But now we are ready for those last chance qualifiers. Here's a look at the Yokohama starting grid. Only one of these 9 will advance, and on pole position is Alex Bergeron. Atu Hakaleta, watch for him on the outside of the front row, but his teammate Jacob Rafoss will be inside of Jarno Leskinen and Thomas Wangen. Matt Busso will line up in 6th position alongside the 199 of Otto Taskinen. Final row of this grid, Toni Latinmäki and Marcos Matamoros. And I've said it before, Paul, pole position not always the best place to start at this track. You can get barged off on the inside, and the car on the outside can sweep around to take the race lead.
They certainly can, but if the rest of the season is anything to go by, strap on in, because this is going to be chaotic and carnage out there because of the desperation it is for these drivers to make it into that feature race.
So 5 laps on the board, 1 will advance, 8 will head over to Sonoma Raceway, ready to go in the last chance qualifiers. Looks like Matamoros might have jumped the start, but it's a good launch from the top 4 into turn 1. Leskinen covers off the guys behind. Hakoleto into the wall. He'll turn around Alex Bergeron. Jarno Leskinen to the race lead as they squabble behind. Chaos and carnage once more.
What did I say? And well, if you're Otto Taskinen right now, you'll be thinking, what have I done wrong? You know, what black cats have crossed my path this week? Because that turn 2, turn 3 situation, it's just not playing nicely with him at all out there.
I don't think he's just thinking that. I'm pretty sure that Taskinen is thinking as one of only 6 race winners in this 2021 campaign. Across the history of the series, as Matamoros, I think that's confirmation that he had a potential penalty he's going to pull to the side of the track. Taskinen's had no luck. I mean, a lot of drivers can say they've had no luck, but Taskinen, one of those at the forefront who is also one of the nicest and cleanest drivers. He's had 0 penalty points in the last 2 seasons of iRX history. Let's take a look at the iRacing replay. Let's take a look at what happened here. So Bergeron shoves Hakoleto into the wall. That sets off a chain reaction. Hakoleto gets sideways. Believe that was Latinmäki that gets into Taskinen. All sorts of carnage. Busa, I think, very much watching on in a great position there.
It was both the Vermont sports car cars that went almost in synchronized spinning through that corner at turn 2. But yeah, carnage, chaos, and some very broken cars out there. Oh, that was an awful landing there from Thomas Wangen off of the jump there. It was a brutal landing, but he's in 3rd place. Now, Hakoleto, the standings on the left-hand side show he's yet to take a joker lap here.
I think that's going to update as they cross the line this time around.
No, he's yet to take that.
Okay. Well, he's still a bit too far. He's 4.5 back from Leskinen, so I don't think there's too much danger of Leskinen getting jumped. Alex Bergeron, it should be noted, has also parked his car, so the Jim Beaver Esports machine, another driver returning to the series after race suspension. Not going to be too happy with how the race started here. I mentioned it a bit earlier. History was made 7 days ago. 13.5 years of age, Jarno Leskinen, an iRacing podium winner. Other youngest podium sitters include the likes of Sebastian Job at 16 years of age. I said at the start of the season, Leskinen has a long road ahead of him, a long career ahead of him, but he's already delivering, Paul. He's looking to try and become the Dirtfish Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, the residents of Nantali will be certainly celebrating this last chance qualifier race here. There you see Hakoleto taking to the joker on the last lap, but it's too little, too late.
And for the 5th time in 2021, Jarno Leskinen to a feature event in the iRacing Rallycross World Championship. Hakoleto only 7/10 behind, not too far off making his first feature event of his Rallycross career. So goes on through. We say goodbye to 8 cars as we wait for the final ones of them to come across the line. Kind of a trend as well of these World Championship events. The heats start off pretty clean, and then once you get into the last chance qualifiers, the desperation is in the air, and carnage and chaos ensues. Here's a look at those results. Hakoleto, Wangen, Busa, Taskinen, Latinmäki, Rafos, Bergeron, and Matamoros wave goodbye to us. They'll make the drive over to Sonoma. But last chance qualifier 2 is ready to get underway, and there is pressure on Joni Ollikainen, 2nd in the championship. Wants to make sure he doesn't miss out on a feature race appearance for just the 2nd time in his rallycross career. Quintin Deloma will be alongside on the front row with Johannes Vahanen, Tommi Nukkarainen for Lonebro Motorsports, and Bo Albert on row number 2. Luke Kraus down in 6th alongside Sindre Silva in the 63 for Team Yokohama. Luis Lejeune and Garrett Maines, the final cars in our 9-car grid. If you're Ollikainen, you would have watched that last heat and you'd be feeling a little bit nervous now, Paul.
Oh yeah, absolutely, there's no doubt about that. He will have not wanted to come into this last chance qualifier for a second week in a row though. He finds himself here, he has to do things the hard way.
So 5 final laps on the board in the last chance qualifiers. Pressure in the air, it's championship pressure on Joni Ollikainen. And lights out, away we go. Ollikainen gets the launch that he would have wanted. Side by side with Delhomme, already though into the lead. Albert looks to the inside of Delhomme. They'll rub doors, but Bo Albert will shove his way into second. There's some smoke behind. It doesn't matter. The top 4 safely through. It's all about now, how do these top 4 cars elect to race this? Ollikainen took to the Joker. Bo Albert followed by Quintin Delhomme on the regular lap.
Oh, this is Bo's opportunity now. He's got a bit of clean air, okay? He's got a driver with him, putting pressure on him. But you can see those cars coming round off the Joker lap, squeezing him off the track there. He holds it incredibly. How on earth did he keep that out of the wall? But that is the tricky part of this track when the cars are coming off of the Joker lap.
And he had a slowdown penalty to serve. That's why he slowed, and I think Garrett Maines had to check up to avoid him. Albert and Maines, 2 drivers who already weren't on the best of terms. I wonder if there's going to be more talk after this. What's on board with Bo Albert? You'll see that he's got on his dash reminding that every point matters, and he knows just how crucial they can be. So he's on the curbing. I believe that's Louis Lejeune that comes into his path, and some excellent car control, some wonderful car control to hold on to that one.
But I'm sorry, you've got to leave more space than that, Louis, and I think he's actually, is he trying to redress the position as well from that? Oh, contact there with Luke Krause. He was going slow, was Lejeune. Either he had a slowdown penalty or he's trying to redress the position to Bo Albert, but that is not how to go about things.
I don't even know if that was actually a redress or if that was another slowdown penalty, because it's quite hard to tell. That's the thing, right? Not 100% sure. What I am 100% sure of is, as across the line Joni Ollikainen comes 2 laps to go, Ollikainen will have done it again. Fought his way through the last chance qualifier to make it to the feature. That is not what you want when you're a championship competitor, but it's what you need. That's going to make Ollikainen feel a little bit relieved, knowing that he's got that ability to fight his way back from adversity in this World Championship scenario.
Yeah, but the problem is, if you're fighting for a championship, you can't afford to be putting yourself into this position to having to be fighting back to get any sort of result. So, you know, it's not ideal when you're trying to fight for that championship. And the problem is, especially when John Robertson has got maximum points so far before they head into the feature race, Ollikainen is going to end up losing out points here if he's not careful.
And we'll get you the live point situation just before we get to the feature, but out of the final corner, Joni Ollikainen coming into this race, 14 starts in his World Championship career. The only time he missed a feature was on his debut at Hell Lankenbennen. He keeps that streak going, 14 consecutive feature race appearances. Incredible stuff. Adversity, no match for Joni Ollikainen. We say goodbye to the rest of the competitors. And as we said, trend developing here. Last chance qualifiers, very much the physical embodiment of rallycross racing. Here's confirmation of the results. Ollikainen through, Delhomme, Silva, Albert, Vahanen, Louis Lejeune, Garrett Maines, Tommi Nukarainen, and Luke Krause say goodbye to us from the Phoenix Raceway. So 26 drivers whittled down to just 10. Feature racing action is where the points get paid out, and that's where the championship run continues. Don't go anywhere on the iRacing Esports Network. 10 laps of action yet to come. It's feature racing action next.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in indoor series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the iRacing Esports Network and the Phoenix Raceway for the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack: the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. Along for the ride today, my name is Arjuna Kankipati, and alongside is Paul Smith. And Paul, Joni Ollikainen does it again. You don't want to be in the last chance qualifiers as a world championship contender, but he's been there, he's fought back. Now it's all about 10 laps and maximizing the points paying potential for Ollikainen, for Robertson, for Tommy Holman as well.
Well, we saw how Ollikainen came through the field last time out, didn't we, at Hell Lankermannen? So it's definitely, he knows what it takes to do that. But he can't afford to be in that position, especially we're in that final third of the championship here. So definitely, Ollikainen's got all the work to do. John Robertson, though, what a position he finds himself in. Maximum points so far from today. He just wants to finish ahead of Holman to help pull out that championship lead.
And remember, 29 points, the maximum that you can gain in a perfect weekend. And so that's the number to think about for Johan Hart. Already looking like he's going to be outside the bubble heading into this one. I'm not sure if this is 100% updated, because the gap between Holman and Robertson coming into the week was 21 points. It's still showing as 21 points.
Well, I can tell you that Jake Robertson has actually pulled out 2 points over Rasmus Toivonen with the drop. So that was 5 points previously. So there has been an update there with that. But Robertson, he can, as I say, he doesn't have to win these next 3 races now in this championship, in these feature races. He just needs to get to the feature and get himself a good finish here. So definitely, he has got that opportunity to potentially pull out the lead even more.
And I think what we're seeing here is the qualifying points aren't being factored into this one. So the heat points have been calculated here. That's why Robertson is +8 compared to when we showed you these point standings earlier. But the gap will have opened up between Robertson and Holman only by 1 point, yes. But it's 1 point that might matter. For Ollikainen and for Holman, they need to start working together. They need to be cognizant of the facts, Paul, that there's not that many points left. There's not that much racing left in 2021. Unless they want to hand Robertson the title, they need to decide which car is going to make the fight for the championship.
It's so difficult as a team boss as well. When they're so close together as well, when do you pull the trigger and say, I'm sorry, but really, we've got to focus on this driver? When it's such a tight margin, that must be a hard pill to swallow if you're the one that doesn't get the focus put on them. And then if you end up having a race where that one driver that you're focusing on doesn't have a good one, before you know it, it's the other one saying, well, I'm vindicated, I'm doing everything that I can.
Well, last time out from this track 12 months ago, it was Holman that was victorious over Ollikainen. Robertson completed the podium. What will happen? 10 laps on the board. It's time to go feature racing from the Jewel in the Desert. Let's turn up the most famous song in all of esports. Let's go trackside to take a look at our Yokohama starting grid. And so it's John Robertson on pole. He wants to make it 3 perfect weekends in 2021, but he'll be alongside Tommy Holman, his championship rival. The defending champion, Johan Hart, will be on the inside of row number 2. He'll need to be careful to make sure that Robertson is clear into turns 1 and 2. Kevin Ellis Jr., Killian Delhomme, the rest of row 2, with Jake Robertson, Luis Nunez, row number 3, Rasmus Tuominen, Jarno Leskinen, Joni Ollikainen. The 10 cars ready to go. There'll be 2 by 3 by 2 by 3. This is going to be an interesting start. Robertson and Holman cannot afford to get mixed up in any sort of shenanigans.
But look at that field, though. You've got the 2 Subaru Motorsports USA cars, 2 Rahal Letterman Lanigan cars as well. All 4 of those cars run by the Apex Racing team, so definitely ones to keep an eye out on.
There is tension building here in the desert. We are ready to race from Phoenix for our feature race. Oh, has John Robertson just jumped the start? We will find out. Tommy Holman leads them down into turn 1. Dalomo already off into the wall. Harth doing the team game. He's making Robertson's life very difficult, but he gets bumped by Kevin Ellis Jr. Jake Robertson is off the road. All sorts of carnage on the start here.
Well, if you ever wanted a spicy start to a race in the championship, that is it. We'll have to wait and see what sort of penalty. It's normally about 15-20 seconds as a jump start. But John Robertson, that is key. Is that the pressure just starting to maybe get into him here in this World Championship?
We've seen it be close for Robertson. I think back to Brands Hatch where he nailed the start. But if that's a jump start, that's going to bring Tommy Holman right back into the mix.
Certainly is, and Holman, all he can do now is just try and drive away at the front. But you've got to factor in Johan Harth right now. You know, John Robertson's teammate. He can certainly put a cat amongst the pigeons here. And look at that, you get such a good run off of the Joker lap, and Johan Harth is challenging Tommy Holman.
This is what he needs to do. He needs to play the team game. They're side by side on the entry. Harth gets the elbows out. Harth to the race lead. Oh my word, this is crucial. And for a driver that's had a disappointing 2021, Harth wants to make sure that everyone is reminded just why he's our defending champion.
And Harth will have one job, just take away points from Holman and from Olakainen out there, because that is his role. He knows that mathematically he was in the championship fight, but realistically he knows he was out of it, and he is a really good team player, is Johan. He will do everything he can to help out his teammate John Robertson.
He's also a fierce competitor. Let's not make any bones about that. He's still on with a World Championship chance here in 2021, just not in Rallycross action. Instead, in the Force Dynamics Dallara iRacing Grand Prix Championship. It will be 6 laps this time around. I think Harth got on the handbrake there a little bit. Not necessarily what I expected to see. Every car except John Robertson has taken to the Joker, and hypothetically, Robertson is still in the Joker window right now. Let's see how this plays out. Robertson might still cycle his way to the front here.
He might do, but it's again, has he jumped this? To me, that was more of a jump start than we saw at Brands Hatch. At Brands Hatch, he got that launch time to perfection. There, he definitely jumped and then stopped. It's whether it's registered it as a jump start. That's what's key. Robertson, though, at the Joker lap, how's the exit of it? We'll have to wait and see, but Harth should be in front. Holman is right there with Robertson.
He's got to give space. Holman cannot afford to get mixed up here. Given that we expect a penalty to be handed down to Robertson, he'll take what is second position. What a Joker lap that was. He executed that to perfection. 5 laps to go. If Robertson has a penalty, what he needs to do now is hold up Tommy Holman for all he's worth.
Well, that's it. If you're Robertson and you know you've got a penalty, try and hold up Holman. Get Kevin Ellis Jr. involved in this battle. Try and get Jr. to start sticking the nose in. But yeah, definitely, this is where tactics come to play here. But Robertson, at the same time, he wants to pull away, because if he has got a penalty, he wants to mitigate that as much as possible.
I tell you what, there's not much time left to go, but I'm already on the horn to the Subaru team and to the spotter, George Simmons, to try and get confirmation. We'll hopefully get that before we get to the results, but I'm with you, Paul. I'm almost 100% sure that is a jump start penalty for John Robertson. First it was Olakainen not getting the best of his heat runs, and now it's Robertson making a mistake. That is what fighting for a world championship does. It puts the pressure on you. Holman cannot afford to get involved with the games. Can Kevin Ellis Jr. take advantage? And again, Ellis Jr., Robertson, and Harth, they are all teammates for the Apex Racing team. Ellis Jr. will want to help out for all he's worth.
I tell you what, if Holman has not got a slow down, he's got a slow down penalty. I thought he was a little
and now
bit
it's
slow
Olakainen. And now it's Olakainen side by side, the two SET Esports teammates. This championship, I said, it's got more twists and turns. Yet Kevin Ellis Jr. into the wall.
That's absolutely incredible. That jump just keeps on taking from us. We've got battling Badging further back as well. Delomo moving on Nunez. But my goodness, this championship just keeps on taking twists and turns.
And it's got more yet to give. We talked about the jump being crucial. Michael Cosi Jr., who had an issue in his heat, will be watching that and knowing just how easy that mistake is to get. For Ellis Jr., a second podium falls by the wayside. What it does mean, if Robertson does have this penalty, Holman and Olakainen both on the podium.
Oh, this is tremendous. We're getting towards the final lap of the race here. This has absolutely flown by. The drama and excitement in this race has been tremendous.
Paul, I have confirmation. It was a jump start from John Robertson.
Oh,
so
that is huge.
It's white flag in the air, and it's hard to emphasize just how crucial that is going to be. Robertson, second on track, will fall to the tail end of the field.
And this is why he's pushing so hard as well. He's trying to get that gap to try and at least get at least one position in terms of points.
It struggles for one of the Subaru cars, but finally some redemption. The defending champion has had an awful 2021. He finally takes a victory in 2021. Johan Harth wins in Phoenix, a dramatic race with plenty of championship implications. Wow, catch your breath and get ready for a helter-skelter 2 rounds left in this 2021 campaign. It was almost 20 points coming into this feature. It will not be 20 points heading out of it. Johan Harth victorious for the first time in 2021. It's his 5th career win in Rallycross history, his 2nd here in Phoenix. Joni Olakainen takes the 2nd step of the podium. He got past Tommy Holman in the closing laps of the race, coming through the final corner, in fact. That is crucial for the 44 car. Tommy Holman doesn't make it 3 wins in a row, but he will still be delighted after the difficulties on the start. Rasmus Tuominen returns to the series, a top 5 finish. Great drive for him, just his 3rd top 5 finish in his Rallycross career. Jarno Leskin, another top 5 to his name. That will be crucial in the Dirtfish Rookie of the Year standings. Kilian Delomo down in 6th with Luis Nunez in 7th, Jake Robertson 8th, and a podium ripped from the hands of Kevin Ellis Jr. by the danger that is the jump. But most importantly, John Robertson drops the 10th position. A jump start penalty has really sent the championship for a toss. Paul, before we step aside for a second, what are your thoughts right now? My brain is still scrambled.
That was incredible. I'm glad we got that confirmation, but my goodness, John Robertson, he will be absolutely gutted about that. But the crucial thing is, he did have a healthy lead coming into this week, but now, well, that's going to be eaten into.
Well, we're going to step aside after that feature race. We're going to catch our breath. Don't go anywhere. Post-race coverage from Phoenix coming up next on the iRacing Esports Network.
Take your driving to the next level at Dirtfish. Gain confidence behind the wheel of an all-wheel drive Subaru STI or rear-wheel drive BRZ. Get sideways with skills on gravel, mud, and tarmac. Dirtfish offers programs for every driver. Visit dirtfish.com for details.
Welcome back to the Phoenix Raceway and the iRacing Esports Network for coverage of the 2021 iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama. There's one thing that separates first place from the rest of the pack, the finish line. High-performance, race-inspired Yokohama Advan tires give you the drive to win. Discover Advan at yokohamatire.com. My name is Arjuna Kankipati alongside us Paul Smith, still trying to wrap our heads around what has just happened, Paul. We thought that the championship was looking pretty comfortable for Robertson, but clearly the pressure is nothing to be trifled with. Robertson with a jump start has let Ollikainen, he's let Holman back into the championship mix.
Wow. Take a breath, everybody, because that was tremendous. That was superb rallycross action. And, well, when you think that the championship is pretty much sewn up and John Robertson just needs to run around and finish, well, it throws up another spanner in the works there.
And before we get to our post-race interviews and our podium interviews here on the iRacing Esports Network, we're going to take a look at the iRacing.com replay of what happened on the start here. You can see Robertson, after the jump start, then gets collected in a bit of the scrambling that went on through the opening couple of corners. Incredible, incredible stuff. At one point, I thought that potentially Robertson would have one hand of the championship coming out of this race, might even have been able to secure the championship heading out of Sonoma, but his teammate will be the one with a big smile on his face. Johan Hart has not enjoyed the best of runs in 2021, but finally returns to victory lane. Johan, talk to us about this 2021 season. Talk to us about how happy you are to have finally won. Yes, it took till round 7, but a victory is a victory.
Yeah, about time to make it back to victory lane on 7. I expected to win one at least one earlier in the season, but yeah, never at the speed really. Maybe at Atlanta I could have won one, but yeah, apart from Atlanta, I was never up there. Fortunately for John, he got a jump start, so I had to step up and get that win on track.
And clearly you like Phoenix, because it's your second win here. Could even have been your third win if 2019 had gone a little better for you. What's it about this track with a little bit more dirt than any of the races we've been to so far this season that really gels with your style?
I don't know. I can't really tell what's good about me with Phoenix. Maybe my driving style, the speed I carry in the corners. I'm not that good on the brakes with the rallycross cars. There is only one big braking zone, so might be the reason why.
And so for the rest of this year, I'm sure you're looking to carry this momentum forward to help your teammate as well. But talk to us about your Thursday evenings and the Force Dynamics Dallara iRacing Grand Prix Championship. This Wednesday championship hasn't gone your way, but Thursdays have been looking pretty good for you. How are you enjoying the IR01 and the type of fighting? It's almost a cerebral type of fighting there where you have to know when to save fuel, when to make passes happen, and when to go pedal to the metal.
Yeah, you just said it, really. It's all about being really smart with the way you race. You can't really, well, from this guy you'd expect it to be flat out from the start to the end, but it's the complete opposite. You need to be really smart with your overtaking, time everything perfectly, and so far this season, one guy started better than all of us, Martin, so yeah, looking to give him a good fight tomorrow.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that one as you head to the Styrian Mountains. Congratulations, Johan, your 5th victory in your rallycross career. I'm sure you'll be a little disappointed it took this long, like I said, but the relief is evident on your face.
Yeah, thank you, man.
That is the defending champion, Johan Hart, for Subaru Motorsports USA. On the second step of the podium, after having to come through the last chance qualifiers, what a drive from Joni Ollikainen, and Paul Smith is standing by.
Well, Joni, we're getting to see your ability in being able to overtake in these feature races, but I'm sure you would rather not be having to make those overtakes, having come through the last chance qualifiers 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it was quite tough, but I have to say, this week it was completely my own fault. In qualifying, I actually broke the suspension of the car on lap 1, so I had to drive all laps with broken car, so I got only P6. And then in heat, I got a quite good start, but in turn 1 I had quite an unlucky contact with Tommy. There was some net code which threw me into the wall, and yeah, the heat was quite a surviving battle after that. But in B main, I was on pole and could just lead the whole race to get into final, and final was quite hectic. I had to make some overtakes and avoid some incidents, but I think this time in final I had some luck to finish P2, and I'm quite happy with that after this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if that's the type of qualifying time that you can do with a broken car, I mean, I can't get within 4 seconds of that, so that tells you the level of competition here in the World Championship. But we saw what happened with John Robertson in that feature race. He got a jump start. He ends up finishing last place. I mean, that must be a crumb of comfort that, yeah, you didn't get the pole position, you didn't get the win in the heat, but you've been able to claw back some points there in this feature race.
Yeah, I actually didn't see the jump start, but just realized after finish that I was second. But yeah, it was quite lucky for us when thinking about the championship, but of course you never can't hope any bad luck for our competitors, but yeah, this time we are lucky and we are still in the fight, so looking forward to next week.
Well, that's it. Next week we head to Sonoma, and to use the immortal words of Marcos Gronholm, it's all about maximum attack now, isn't it, all the way to the end of the season?
Yeah, full send into last 2 races.
Well, congratulations on the podium finish after the tricky start to tonight, and all the best for next week.
Yeah, thanks, and thanks to my team, Set Esports, and to my teammates, and to my spotter, Alexi, and of course all to my partners and supporters.
So that was Joni Ollikainen, second place finisher. His teammate, Tommy Holman, back-to-back winner heading into this race where he won 12 months ago. But after John Robertson's poor start, it was looking good for Tommy Holman. Didn't work out his way. Tommy, I assume that you saw the jump start from John and you were thinking at that moment in time, this is my opportunity to take a 3rd win on the trot.
Yeah, it looks quite good, but then I got rammed from behind 2 times and that totally killed my tires and lost so much time there that there was no chance really to win after that. So I'm not really satisfied what happened, but yeah, that's what it is.
And it looked like a fun battle between you and your teammate there. I'm sure that both of you were thinking, you kind of, rule number 1 in racing, right? Don't hit your teammate. What was going through your mind, especially through that final corner, when Joni got past you coming to the line?
Yeah, I think there was no problem. I just did a small mistake. I was maybe trying to actually drive too slow through the right-hander, and it when you go over the sausage curb, usually you kind of jump over it, but now I was a bit too calm and it didn't go so smoothly over it, and it jumped a bit from there and I lost the line, and yeah, own mistake. But yeah, there was also quite unlucky moment in the heat when Jonne hit the wall after quite huge net code in the first corner. So yeah, not a perfect race for us, but at least we got on John in the points. So everything is still to play for the last 2 rounds.
And when we had chatted pre-season, you had said that this was one of your favorite tracks, Sonoma one of your favorite tracks. It's close between the 3 of you heading into the final couple of races. Paul was just saying it's maximum attack, but I assume there's a little bit more to that. How are you going to now prepare for these next 2 championship rounds, knowing that the championship's on the line? It's really a 3-horse fight, and one of those major players is your teammate as well. So there's got to be a lot of pressure between the 2 of you, but I know you 2 are good friends as well. So you'll be working together, trying to maximize the performance of your Set Esports Subarus.
Yeah, for sure. I think we have been quite a strong team this year, and Sonoma is really nice track. I like it, but the Subaru guys have been quite fast there usually. So I think last year there was like top 3 in qualifying inside 1/10 or something like that. So it's gonna be really tight again in the qualifying, and it plays quite a big role in the race. If you win the qualifying, you get the pole, and it's so much easier to win from that. There also, I think, in Sonoma, the second grid is maybe even better than the pole. So there's quite many opportunities that can happen. But yeah, let's see how it goes. But it's really looking interesting with the points.
Well, the start at Sonoma is known as a bowling alley because of just how chaotic it can be. And just like we saw today, I think you're right that the starting on the outside might not be the worst place in the world. Congratulations on another podium, Tommy. Great drive from you. We'll see you in the last 2 rounds. Plenty to play for in this World Championship race.
Thanks, and thanks to my Set Esports team and teammates and all of our partners.
So that was Tommy Holman, who's on the podium once more in 2021. Paul, I have finally just about managed to catch my breath. I'm still very curious how this point situation is looking like as we head out of the desert and into wine country. It's going to be close, we know that, but how close is it going to be, especially given that Robertson has been so strong in qualifying? He's going to be able to do the same in the last 2 rounds of this campaign. It's all to play for, and really, if you're watching now, you cannot miss the next 2 weeks here on a Wednesday evening.
Absolutely not. This is. I thought last year was quite a fun run-in to the end of the season, but this season, my goodness, it has been absolutely tremendous. People were thinking that John Robertson had this championship sewn up. That's not the case, and we saw the heartbreak of John last year, missing out on the championship to Johan in that final round at Sonoma. This time round, though, he's once again still championship leader, but again, that pressure is just starting to get to him, and you can see, well, you take it away, Arjuna.
Yeah, so we have to make sure that we're explaining this correctly, because of course, for the qualifying points aren't being factored into this one. So for Horman and Robertson, the gap is 13 points. Ollikainen qualified a bit further down the order. He qualified back in 6th position. So he got some qualifying points, but not as significant as Robertson. So in fact, I believe if I'm doing the quick mental math in my head, again, never trust a commentator's math, it's about 5 points extra. So they'll be about tied. It will be 12 points back for Ollikainen, 13 points back for Tommy Horman. When 29 points is a perfect race weekend, it's still all to play for. Unfortunately for Johan Hart, he's still mathematically in with a chance, but realistically, he's going to need other disasters for Robertson, Ollikainen, and Horman. It's a 3-way fight. Robertson in the same position he was 12 months ago, leading the championship, heading to Sonoma. The pressure got to him today, Paul. He can't afford to let that happen in the next 2 weekends.
Yeah, and the thing is, he's got that experience in the bank. He knows what it was like last year, and it's how you then dust yourself down and get back up and take into it this season. Again, has had a tremendous start to the season here, but it's now this championship run-in, just 2 more weeks to go here in this championship. So Robertson, he needs to just focus, just make sure he's doing everything right and not getting involved in any silly shenanigans. But as we see, Sonoma, it was the championship finale last year. This year, it's the penultimate round in Charlotte Motor Speedway to round off the season.
It is very much all to play for. Do not miss the next 2 Wednesdays, Sonoma, Charlotte, the championship showdown. But it's time to wrap up from Phoenix with round 7 of the iRacing Rallycross World Championship presented by Yokohama in the books. Just 2 races are left to go in our World Championship. The championship is there to be taken. The World Championship action continues tomorrow on the iRacing Esports Network as the Force Dynamics Dallara iRacing Grand Prix Championship heads to the Styrian Mountains and to the Red Bull Ring for round number 8. Catch the action at 7 p.m. UTC or 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back in 7 days' time as the virtual paddock sets up shop in wine country at the Sonoma Raceway for round 8 of our iRacing Rallycross World Championship on November 10th. Until then, we'd like to thank you for joining us on the iRacing Esports Network. On behalf of the entire team at iRacing, for our production team of Tyler Maxson, Joshua Lee, and Ryan Bauer, for Dougie Beard providing all of our cameras, for my co-commentator Paul Smith, my name is Arjuna Kankipati. Congratulations to Johan Hart, winner in the Grand Canyon State.